Well, the countdown to Cheltenham is well and truly on. This is Iroko, who we didn't think was going to go to Cheltenham, but is. And I'm at Oliver Greenall's and Josh Guerriero's yard here in Cheshire, and this horse looks $1 million. Could it be another festival winner for this horse? Standing next to Iroko, who gave you a huge thrill last year, how much did it mean to you to saddle your first Cheltenham Festival winner with a horse that's clearly got a serious amount of ability?
Yeah, it was sort of, there wasn't a huge amount of pressure because it's obviously a very competitive race. We always felt that there's probably going to be another one in the race that was better handicapped than us. So we just enjoyed the day. I think it's the last race of the day. Obviously there's a massive buzz at Cheltenham, especially being the Friday, it's absolutely packed. And it was just a joy to watch, really. He sort of came off the bridle at the top of the hill and we were a bit, hopefully maybe gets placed, and then he just motored up the hill. I fell to my knees, Josh ran off. It was a special moment, really.
And yes, as you say, came off the bridle and you're thinking, well, hasn't got a chance. You've got the other JP McManus horse going well. You think that's the one that's going to win. But did that surprise you to see that turn of foot coming back up the hill?
Yeah, it did really. But he'd come off the bridle plenty in his races previously and found plenty. So I don't know why he just seemed to find a flat spot, hit a flat spot, and then he just needed all of that extra distance in the hill.
And for you, that means that you're a festival-winning jockey, a festival-winning trainer. That must feel pretty good to achieve that double.
Yeah, exactly. And it meant a huge more bit training. I think as a jockey, you jump on, you do your job, you jump off. It was good. When I was young, thought it would probably happen again, which it didn't. So actually, to train a horse, to find a horse, to get an owner to buy a horse, to see it through all its different stages, and actually get a horse there, a lot more goes into it, and it meant a lot more.
And this year with Iroko, yes, you have a great start to the season, and then you think the season's over. I mean, did you really believe you could get him back, that actually he can go back to Cheltenham this year?
No, it didn't really. I mean, he jumped so well at Warwick. We were so excited, to see him just so electric over those fences down the back at Warwick. It gave us a huge thrill. We were excited for the season, and then he was fine the next day. Turned him out in the field, and he comes in and he's lame. So couldn't believe it. And then we were hopeful that we would get him back, and the vets, were pretty sort of negative about it all, really. And then he just seemed to make a really good recovery, and the hoof healed, and we're here back, and he hasn't put on too much weight, and he's come back to fitness really well. So it's fantastic.
And that's the thing, you think you've got him back to the kind of fitness you'd want to, even if he hadn't had the injury, because he looked really fresh and bucking and kicking and enjoying life at the moment.
Yeah, no, definitely. The fitness is not a worry. It's more just the lack of experience, really, that would worry me going to Cheltenham. I'm happy he's in the 2.5 mile. We'll just go a cog slower, and should just give him that chance just to get in a nice rhythm round there. He's always jumped very well, but having only had one run, that would be a concern, really, against horses with a lot more experience.
So even if you see the jockey sort of rowing away, he might come back, you're not going to worry about that, because knowing what he did in the Martin Pike.
No, and for some reason, just watching him at Warwick, just jumping fences, he seems to travel a lot better than he did over hurdles. I don't know what it is, just maybe more time in the air. So I think he should travel better over fences.
Now, everywhere is bog-like. So what ground do you want? Presumably you don't want it to be bog-like, and the one thing about Cheltenham is it does dry out quickly.
Yeah, I think looking at the long-range forecast, March looks to be dry, so it could easily be, just soft-sided good, just safe ground. He actually can cope with all sorts. He's run on soft and quicker ground, so I wouldn't be that concerned. But something good to soft ground would be perfect.
Are you trying to play down your chances? Do you think you go there with a winner's chance?
Yeah, it's just hard having, like I say, with that inexperience. But I think he's an improving horse. He loves jumping. He's got a great attitude, handles the track. He's used to the hurly-burly of those big handicaps, which I think stands him in great stead. I think he's got a fantastic chance.
Is he the best horse you trained?
Definitely, yeah, best horse. I've never actually ridden him, but he's the best horse we've ever had here.
And what marks him out then? Is it that natural cruising speed, ability, just have a bit of star quality?
Yeah, he wants to do it, and he covers the ground so well. He's got a fantastic attitude, just moves so well, and just wants to do it, I think. And he just attacks his fences. He loves racing.
And if he wins, will he fall to the ground again?
Probably, yeah.
Well, he looks well. Best of luck.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Let's take us back, about 12 months ago. What did it mean for you to see Iroko come through and win at the festival?
Everything. It was quite surreal, to be honest. From day one, it seemed to go so smoothly for us. He won all his handicaps leading up to it, and we went there. Obviously, we thought we had a chance, but to go to the Martin Pipe against all the Irish and with a JP horse, it was obviously going to be a dream if he could win. And when he powered up the hill, it was unbelievable.
But it wasn't probably straightforward viewing, though, was it? Because he didn't. At some stage, you thought, well, that may not be happening, but he found a new lease of life as he turned into the straight.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we're very happy throughout the race. And then coming down the hill, he was flat out. And then sort of turning in, we thought, well, he's nearly upsides in front, he'll fly home from here. And then down to last, he was 3 lengths down again, and we're like, he's run a brilliant race, he's finished third, delighted. And all of a sudden, they parted in front and he flew between them. It was just, surreal.
And your reaction afterwards? I think the trainer was on the floor and you were running around like a mad thing, were you?
We watched it together on the lawn in front, and as soon as he crossed the line, I looked around, I couldn't see him. I was like trying to look for him frantically. And he said he was on the ground on his knees. But I was just running around like a lunatic, just celebrating,
But obviously this season, though, you go to Warwick and you think, hey, everything's going to plan. But then a few days later, you find he's gone lame. How gutted were you there, thinking, well, that's it for the season?
Yeah, it was totally just devastating, because he looked the most exciting novice this side of the Irish Sea. At that stage, and everyone was sort of talking about Cheltenham, and we were gutted. When he came in lame that day, it was devastated, but obviously he seems to have come back quicker than we knew. So
how surprised are you to see him come back and actually looking so well, and actually you feeling right, well, he doesn't seem to have had any sort of injury?
Yeah, very. I mean, we thought he was out for the season. It's just luckily he's recovered a lot quicker than we thought, and I think he's just obviously the rehab and everything he's had's really helped, and he's come back better than ever, so it's amazing.
And what sort of form do you think he's in? Because it's been a long gap, he's had the recovery. Do you think you've got him in where you'd want him to be if you compare it to like last year?
I think so, yeah. I mean, he's one of those horses, actually, as you saw this morning on the gallops, he's booking, and when he's right and he's happy, he's booking on the gallops, and sometimes he has been not booking and he's not been quite as good, so he seems to be as good as we can get him at this stage, yeah.
And what about the experience factor, just with the one run over is that the sort of one nagging doubt?
Yeah, it has to be. Obviously, to go to Cheltenham with one run under your belt over fences is going to be, but if there's ever a horse that could get away with it, it's him. He's been foot perfect till now, schooling, and obviously at Warwick he was unbelievable for a first time out, and Warwick's a tricky place to go first time, big fences, they come at you thick and fast. So I think it was as good an experience for him as he could get at that stage.
And have you been putting lots of schooling in just to make sure he's got his A game with him?
So he schools loads, yeah, exactly. And he's been to Haydock to school over fences last Saturday. We're going to hopefully take him somewhere else for a gallop and a jump on the track as well before he runs.
And where do you rate him in terms of horses you've handled in your career? Is this very special?
Yeah, God, yeah. And he is, yeah. He's as good as I've dealt with. And you can see that at home. He's just so classy. He finds everything very easy. And like I say, with his jumping, everything is so easy to him. He's just got a lot of class.
And you mentioned JP's the owner. For him to give you a good horse, I mean, it's a real confidence booster for the yard, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah, and for our owners as well. Obviously for us, but we like to think we're confident we can do it. It's just convincing everyone else. So I think having those horses here is it's massive. It gives our owners confidence as well, and new owners to come into the yard.
And you have seen the expansion, but the sort of the quest for the Cheltenham Festival winners is what everybody wants, isn't it?
Yeah. And for us to get one early on in our career is unbelievable, in the way he did it. For JP, it's what everyone's sort of striving to do. So to go back there with a chance this year is even more exciting. Yeah.
Can you see yourself running around like a mad thing again? Or
will you take it in your time? If he wins again, it could be worse. Yeah, definitely. I always do.
Would it mean an enormous amount that you sort of backed up what you did last year with this horse and to see him training?
It'd be incredible for us as well. It'd be amazing to show what we can do. If you can go there and nearly win or win, it'd be just unbelievable to go there and take on Willie Williams with one run under his belt. It'd be massive. Yeah, massive.
Well, Josh, I come to the yard this morning and then there's one horse who just looks bigger, more than any other horse. It is White Rhino. This is some stamp of a horse.
Yeah, he's massive. Hence why he took so long to win a race. Early on in his career, he was so big and gangly, he just struggled to get around, and he struggled with soft ground. He just wasn't strong enough for it, and he obviously got himself well handicapped because he was big and weak, and then all of a sudden he came back. and just a much improved horse, and went and won his handicaps and couldn't stop winning then.
In a way, this is sort of the old-fashioned chaser, needing to grow into himself.
Exactly.
So you had to be patient. Was it easy to be patient?
It was, because we couldn't actually train him that hard, we couldn't do a lot with him, and we couldn't over-race him anyway, because he struggled to take it. Like I say, he was just big and gangling. He'd come back, he wouldn't eat, and he was skin and bones really, so we had to look after him a bit, and it just worked well.
I'm noticing when you're galloping around, he's obviously not completely straightforward, because you have to put some special tack on him. Is he complicated?
He's not actually complicated, it's just more because of his physique. He's so tall and gangly, we have to use other aids to sort of use other muscles that he wouldn't use normally. So it's an aid to help him physically improve, basically.
Well, obviously going for the per temps, I mean, he's going to look bigger than most, and he's not going to be worried about the hurly-burly, presumably.
No, exactly. I think having been to Cheltenham twice, that's going to stand him in good stead. And he's straightforward in that sense. He's not going to be worried about what's going on around him.
And how pleased were you with his last run in the qualifier, getting third? I mean, it's always difficult to get qualified. It's part of the object now, but I presume you were very happy.
Yeah, delighted. It was perfect, really, and we knew that the track was going to be a bit sharp. The ground, it was decent ground, which he probably wants a bit of slower ground. So we had a lot of things against him, and he still qualified, which was perfect. And now we go back to Cheltenham, where we know he likes, back over sort of a galloping track and softer ground, hopefully, which it looks like it should be.
And you never quite know what you're going to be up against in the race, who's sort of snuck in under the radar a bit. Yeah. But would you be going there with more than just an each-way chance in your mind?
I'd like to think so. He's never stopped improving. He just seems to be improving with every run. I think he doesn't have to improve masses. If he's got £7–10 pound in hand, then you never know, he could go and win a race like that. It looks obviously very competitive every year, but we know he likes the track, and I think that's a big thing. And
if you do win, it feels like your patience will have been rewarded.
Exactly, yeah, that'd be amazing, yeah.
Well, making headway, wins the other day, so presumably that helps you make sure that you can try and find a race for him at Cheltenham.
Exactly, yeah. He's done everything we've asked him up to now. We've tried to run him in some good races to get some experience. He was fourth in the Formby up at Aintree. So we just wanted to give him a confidence boost the other day in a lesser novice that we thought he could win, which he did. So he's come back from there really fresh, and now we can look at a nice handicap.
And I suppose going to Newbury, that's always you're going to say you're going to be taking on some hot horses. So in a way you wanted to was that just to see where the horse was? A
little bit. To be honest with you, it was his second option. He was declared at Bangor on D, and it was off on the Friday, so we declared him for Saturday at Newbury. It was obviously a lot more competitive. There's plenty of runners and a couple of Nicky Henderson horses. But he was the class horse in the race, so we hoped he'd go there and do what he did.
So, which race do you think you might be getting into more likely?
I think he got more chance of getting in the Martin Pipe. But we'll just see. I think if we got in the Coral Cup, we'd have a go in that, because obviously Henry's been riding him as well, and it'd be good to keep him on it as well. But we'll just see what happens on decks.
Obviously, the Martin Pipe, you won it last year. Would the horse be a similar profile, or very different?
Similar-ish. We did the same with Iroko when he came. We ran him in a couple of Grade 1s, kept him a novice for the following season. But those runs in Grade 1s gave him really good experience. Which is sort of what we've done with him. He's got the experience, but obviously he hasn't run in a handicap, which Iroko had, running a couple.
And you talked about Henry Brook. How integral is he to your team as well, and what he's helped the team achieve this year?
He's been massive, yeah. He's in here regularly, and it's just having someone consistently riding the horses that you trust and gives you good feedback, and obviously he's riding very well as well. So it's just, we've grown together and got confidence together, which is good. And
people say there's not the horses in the northern part of England. There's definitely been a sea change in your part of that suddenly the people are taking note, people going to Cheltenham with chances.
Yeah, it's just amazing to see and hear, and obviously Donald has had horses at Cheltenham for years, and it's great to be part of that, to have a few nice ones to go down south with.